How's it going, you guys? This is petplatypus here, and welcome back to Avatar Month. This time I'm going to be talking about Avatar The Last Airbender, Book 2, or Season 2, Earth. There's just so many cool things in this season to talk about. Just so many, like the drill, and Zuko's character development, and Azula, and Ba Sing Se, and the shady shit that Ba Sing Se has going on, and just Appa getting lost, and that great episode, and the Guru, and the Chakras. There's just so many great things in this season that I'd be here all day. For now, I'm just going to kind of talk about the characters. We have Aang still, and definitely some interesting character development for him in this season. He starts off mostly the same, but, the responsibility of being the Avatar is, there's more pressure put on him. He has to learn how to master the Avatar state. They are in the desert, and Appa gets lost. And with Appa lost, he's really upset and angry, and we see different sides of his character. So the characterization and development for Aang is pretty damn good. With Katara, who I didn't talk about too much in Season 1, she's now a master waterbender, which I really like. I like that she's more, well-versed in waterbending. There's an evolution there. She's not still making the mistakes she made early on in the first season. She's really damn good. She's still teaching Aang. We get introduced to Toph. She's amazing, but before I get to her, I'll focus on the characters that we've already seen. As far as character development for Katara, there really isn't a ton. She's mostly the same. We don't really learn too many things new about her, I don't think. At least I don't recall. But yeah, Master Waterbender, her skills are much improved. That's great growth for the character. Sokka, again, mostly the same. We kind of see him actually go through a few things because he reunites with Suki from the first season. Those first season episodes, even the ones that aren't that great, they still introduced characters. And he's very overprotective of her because of what happens to Yue in the end of the first season. His, first girlfriend, I guess you could say. And, he's very protective of her and everything, and that's cool. I like that character growth. I like that character development. But largely, Sokka is the same. Zuko, though, Zuko in this season is absolutely phenomenal. Episodes like Zuko Alone and The Crossroads of Destiny and The Chase, those are just some amazing Zuko episodes. His development and growth from going from his, not evil, but just mean-hearted and I gotta get my honor back, and kind of learning from his uncle that I don't need the honor, I can make my own life, make my own destiny, and the way he makes his own body sick, and he sees himself as the Avatar in the mirror, and it's just, it's awesome, it's fantastic. His character development is amazing. You just see the comparison of that one shot of him scowling in the Storm episode where we get his backstory, and the shot of him smiling in the tea shop, which I'll probably put both on screen right now. Just great. Just a great contrast. Great characterization and development. And then he goes back and he's like, I want the Avatar still, and it was okay. It made sense. It wasn't just a complete 180. He still felt guilty about it in the later seasons, so I don't really care about him going back on it. It's the worst case scenario, and that's what happened. But yeah, his character development was amazing. Iroh is just amazing. Okay, Uncle Iroh, because I differentiate him from General Iroh from Korra by putting Uncle in front of it. I don't even know. His philosophy, his voice acting, his overall character, his sense of humor. Tales from Ba Sing Se, the tale of Iroh makes me fucking cry like a bitch. It's just incredible. Just the way he scolds Zuko about how he never thinks anything through, and just the way he tries to change him over time. It's just, oh my god, I can't. He's such the Dragon of the West. He kicks so much ass. Breathing fire and shit. He's just such a badass. It hurts. Even he's just such a badass. It hurts. It doesn't even make sense, but it's true. He's just disgusting. He learns how to redirect lightning by studying waterbenders. Just so awesome. Such a great character. Had a nice talk with Toph throughout the episode of The Chase, where Toph has no idea who he is. He has no idea who Toph is, and they just have a great talk. That's awesome. Now we got the new characters. We've got Azula and Toph. Those are really the main new characters that are introduced here, and with Toph, one of my favorite characters, honestly. She's got a good backstory, a good setup, being able to see through the earth with her earth bending. Her way of fighting is fantastic. The episode she gets introduced is awesome. She's blind, and I love that she can see through the earth, but anything that comes at her from the air, or if she's in the air, like on Appa, she can't see anything, and they always make jokes about how she can't see anything. They're very, how I want to say it, they're very forward, not forward, they make it very apparent that she can't see very often. You know, they don't make it like Daredevil or some other superhero where it's like, well, she's not a superhero, but you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, you have a handicap, but you're basically better off than you were without the handicap. Like, yeah, she's still blind, and they still make it very apparent, which I like. She's very funny, and the episode where she teaches Aang earthbending, all that stuff is great. The earthbending philosophy and how it's totally different from airbending. That was great. And then we have Azula, aka one of the greatest villains of all time, in my opinion. She's just so calculated, so cold, so like sociopathic and psychotic, but still smart and conniving and manipulative. Her voice acting is absolutely phenomenal. She has blue fire, which is different than any other firebender. She's a prodigy. Just everything she does, the way she manipulates the Dai Li agents and Long Fang, and just some of the greatest lines she's delivered. She's just a machine. She's awesome. She's great in the drill. Anytime she appears, she's great. Just the drill episode, the disguise as a Kyoshi warrior, all that stuff's great. So those are the characters. For the overall plot of this season, some very interesting things happen. I mean, trying to make Aang learn the Avatar state was a very interesting concept. Appa being taken away and them having to traverse the desert and several areas on foot without Appa. Very interesting, very ballsy. The episode, Appa's Lost Days, is another one that makes me tear up. I love Appa as a character, which is crazy because he's just the animal, like, sidekick thing. He's not even, like, a character. He's like a pet, but he is, like, a full-fledged character with personality and somewhat development, and Appa's Lost Days is an amazing episode to showcase that. We also have the stuff with Ba Sing Se and Jet coming back and getting brainwashed and all the shady-ass stuff that's going on with the Dai Li and keeping everything like, no, there's no war inside the walls and all that. Just great stuff you'd never expect to see in a kids show. Very dark. All the Lake Lao guy stuff, especially that whole episode. And, you know, a freaking Jet dies. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's just... it's great. That whole Ba Sing Se arc, I guess you could call it, is just some of the best in the entire series, whether it's Avatar or Korra or what. Just that whole Ba Sing Se arc, and just ending all Empire Strikes Back with Aang going away from his training and not being able to activate the Avatar state and trying to save everybody, and the worst thing happens and they have to run away and Ba Sing Se gets conquered. Very Empire Strikes Back, but not a ripoff of Empire Strikes Back. Just very similar. It knew when to use those certain plot elements, and it didn't it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like a ripoff. It just felt like this is naturally where the story could go, and it was a great place for the story to go. And I can't believe you'd have to wait a year after the end of season 2 to go to season 3. That would be an awful, awful amount of time to wait. But luckily, I didn't have to deal with that when I watched it. At least when I watched the series all the way through. I did have to go through the wait back when I was younger, but I kind of watched the series on and off when I was young, and now I can really appreciate the series more when I'm older. And then also Aang unlocking the chakras and going through all that and the grief and the fear and unlocking all of those. That was all very interesting philosophy. Very well done. Very well depicted. Really like that a lot. The Guru is a great character. So that's basically all the plot elements that were really important in this season. Not really much else to say. I guess I talked about the characters. I talked about the overall plot. The animation was still amazing. The pace of the season was much better than the first season. Much more of an ongoing, continuous story here, not just, couple of episodic episodes here and there, whatever, you know, less. There's a couple episodic episodes like The Cave of Two Lovers and, oh, what was the other episode? Oh my god, Avatar Day, which I'm not a huge fan of Avatar Day as an episode, but stuff that Kyoshi says in that episode about killing Chin the Conqueror, that comes back several times. It's mentioned several times later towards the finale of the series, so it was still important. And The Cave of the Two Lovers, explaining like who the first Earthbender woman was and how the cave worked and that whole backstory, that was cool. But the overall episode with the hippies and everything, it was alright. But still, very enjoyable episode. Even despite that, and just a very enjoyable season overall. So I'd probably give the second season of Avatar: The Last Airbender probably honestly like a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was leaps and bounds above the first season in every way that made the first season great. It just does everything even better, and I can't wait to talk about season 3 because it's just as amazing as season 2. So yeah, I guess I'll wrap things up. As I said, animation amazing, plot lines and stories went in very interesting directions, didn't know where they were going, great overall story progression, didn't meander too many times throughout the whole season. It was very to the point, just a couple of episodic episodes here and there. Oh, and of course the eclipse that they've been building up that comes out in the middle of season 3. That gets set up in this season, so just one more little thing to throw in there. Thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys think of the second season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 2 Earth in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram. Rate this video if you would please, and subscribe if you haven't already if you liked what you saw. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.